I'm a co-editor of Pow Magazine. I want to thank you all for coming out here for this. I want to make an announcement that I have Suzanne Stefani from the No More Censorship Fund wants to come out and say a few words. So let's hear it for her, okay?
Okay, I'm going to tick them off. There's shit, there's fuck, there's piss, that's 3. There's motherfucker, there's cunt, there's tit, and there's cocksucker. It used to be that if you stayed away from those 7 words, that the FCC would leave you alone if you were a radio or a TV broadcaster. That's no longer true. In fact, station KPFK in Los Angeles got a really nasty letter from the FCC a little while ago for broadcasting a show on AIDS and safe sex. KCSB, which is the Santa Barbara University station, got the exact same letter for playing a song by some 1977 band called Pork Butt or something. I forget. It was called Makin' Bacon. It had a few references to oral sex and anal sex. Well, what's happened is intimidation. You have lots of radio stations out there that issue playlists that ban certain songs. This wasn't true of a short time ago. In North Carolina, you couldn't buy anywhere really the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue because they have a new law that says anything that shows a woman's tit, even if it's shrouded, can't be sold in the stores. Again, this is intimidation. Now, as a media liaison for the defendants in the Jello Biafra case, I'm co-founder of the Defense Fund. I'm ecstatic that they got off. I mean, that's great. But laws are only one way that people are cheated of their options. You have less out there to listen to. Because of that case, there are a lot of record companies, there are a lot of distributors, there are a lot of retailers, and even the artists themselves are limiting what they put out there. What this comes down to is, if you've got a First Amendment that says you can say whatever you want, if you don't use it, you lose it. I mean, that's a cliche, but it's true. And so, what I would encourage all of you to do is pay attention, make noise, and know what rights you have and how they're being infringed at any given time. The best way to fight censorship is through information, through making informed choices. So I very, very much want to thank Pow, the magazine, for bringing all these wonderful bands here tonight, and the people at the Kennel Club for opening their doors to this. And I hope you all are having as good a time as I am. Thanks a lot.
Boy, the 30th anniversary is coming up on the 16th of this month, and that was a great night in San Francisco, doing a benefit show for Jello Biafra and Dead Kennedys. And of course, we were brand new at the time. We were only like a year old. Those charges against Jello, pornography charges, I thought was a little bit extreme, but I think it was politically in nature, and we kind of knew that, and we had to prove that was ridiculous by helping out the organization by raising money. It was a little difficult to do because we were kind of new at this. Convincing the Kennel Club, which is a San Francisco venue that it just opened, I believe. We're putting on shows. But we did it. We raised about $1,000 or so. It was a great night. All the bands were at the top of their game. We videotaped the whole thing. We had a great light show behind us called the C&I.
Thank you all for coming tonight. It's important to show that we can't be fucked with. Just, I don't know, you probably can't be fucked with, but you might as well fight, you know, right? I'm not good at politics.
Catheads for driving all the way from Berkeley Square tonight to do another show for us. All being Pow Magazine, just want to thank everybody for coming out. We're going to try to do a couple more of these, one in San Jose and hopefully another one up here. And also just send money to No More Censorship. That's it. Now, the Cathead.
So everything started when I was working for Warehouse Music, and we received a memo telling us to take all of the Frankenchrist albums off the shelf, both cassettes and LPs. So immediately, you know, a red flag kind of came up in my head, like, what actually is going on. So I found out that it was the Penis Landscape poster that was inserted with the album that a 12 or 13-year-old kid had brought home. The mom had found the poster, and instead of taking it over back to the shop, she filed a complaint with the Attorney General. So it kind of exploded from there. Also, when I heard about this and heard about Jello and crew getting arrested, and the whole idea of having a warrant set out for a raid looking for quote unquote pornographic materials, when the poster itself, Penis Landscape by H.R. Geiger, was considered a piece of great artwork. So, and I thought to myself, then I brought this up with Dennis, is, you know, we have a little fanzine. What if some kid picks it up? We have some, you know, anti-Reagan stuff in there. You know, what happens if in fact we get popped, or any of our friends get popped for any of the artwork that they're doing, or music, you know. So I brought this up with both Dennis and I were talking about this and trying to figure out, you know, what we could do to help out. So that's how that's our involvement in the No More Censorship Defense Fund started.
So I've been
So what we wanted to do, it was to set up a benefit for Jello's defense fund because they were racking up huge amounts of bills with the Attorney General being after them. So we spoke to Dirk Dirksen, who was running the No More Censorship Defense Fund, and we thought, okay, well, we'll set up a concert, and Dennis brought up the whole idea of getting together with a bunch of our friends, Flying Color, the Catheads, John Gahn, and putting together a benefit show. So he went and started to round up the bands, so my job was to drink, of course, but also to take care of the money and get that over to Dirk. I'm not an organized person, and that seemed to be a pretty simple thing to do. I helped Dennis out when I could, but he was the mainstay. He had everything set up. He got us to the Kennel Club, and it turned out to be a great show for, obviously for a great cause. And Warren Hinkle showing up didn't hurt the cause as well.
Meantime, special program, we're going to run a newspaper. We've got a famous journalist in the audience. Fella's been arrested for having a dog off a leash. Happens to the best of us, but journalists usually get shit out. He's hanging around here. Matter of fact, I see him bulling his way through the crowd right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce this fellow whose name you might recognize, Mr. Warren Hinkle. Stairs over there, civilized means enough. All right, a man that needs no introduction because he just had one, Warren Hinkle.
Now, if any of you don't know it, I'm running for mayor of San Francisco. Now, the reason I'm running is not that I'm so good, but if there's any media out there other than me, it's because the other people who are running are total assholes. Now, we're talking in this election, we're going to talk about freedom, right? We're going to talk about cops getting out of your face. Right? Now, I know about cops. I mean, I'm a writer, I'm a journalist, and that sort of shit. But when Marilyn Chambers got busted at the Mitchell Brothers 2 years ago, they sent 30 cops in to drag off one naked woman, all right? They sent 10 cops into the dressing room to make sure she got dressed. Right? I didn't think there was a good use of police power. Anybody who's been hassled by the cops will have an understanding of that. Well, then the cops sent down 3 cops to the newspaper and arrested me for walking the dog without a leash. So I admit it, I was a dog scofflaw. I got the ticket and I didn't pay it. I said, screw it. But it took 3 cops to take me to jail for walking the dog without a leash. That didn't make a lot of sense. And what else doesn't make sense in this town? It doesn't make sense not to let clubs stay open after 2 o'clock if they want to stay open. cops go out and ticket parking lots that are goddamn empty, right? Just so they get their thing in the middle of the night to hassle people when they go out and hear music. It doesn't make sense to have a city that's supposed to be the loosest, openest, lively city in the world run by a city administration that wants to make it a petaluma, all right? And starting on Tuesday, we're starting a 6-week campaign to turn this election upside down. The front runner has 23% of the vote. Mr. Molinari, Mr. Feinstein, I call him. I now have 6% of the vote. He spent $1 million. We have not yet spent $200. Now we're going to try and spend money. We're going to close that gap. We're going to raise the issues. And we're going to make this a town that is going to keep people out of your face. It's going to make it a loose town in the best possible sense of the word. And the first thing I'm going to cut as mayor, and believe me this, is the overtime budget of the Vice Squad. It is the largest single item in the police department's budget. Now this is not the rape squad. It's not the sexual crimes assault, where people are brutalized and hurt and raped. There's a whole separate squad for that. The Vice Squad just goes out and hassles and hustles people and lays in wait and runs up overtime. Well, that money's going to go out. We're going to put that out for senior citizens. We're going to put that out in cutting out bureaucracy. And we're going to make this place the town that the tourists think it is. When the tourists come here, they think it's an open town. Anybody who lives in this town knows that it is not. It is an uptight, puritanical town. Right? We're going to bring this back to, we're going to renew San Francisco and bring it back to a place of common sense and good fun for everyone, and nobody's going to be in anybody's face. All right? Let's do that for a campaign. What about rent control? What else can you do? I mean, as a writer on the newspapers, I've sat in apartments where people who lived there for 40 years, they were 80 goddamn years old, and I've seen pickaxes going through the walls in their kitchen because the landlords were trying to hustle them out so they could get the apartment vacant and they could raise the rent. So there's no question about vacancy control. You got to put the lid on that. Not only do we have to put the lid on that, we have to put the lid on commercial rent control. How many clubs, how many small businesses, how many little guys have been driven out of this town because they raised the rent from $400 to $4,000 so Hallmark cards can come in. Yeah. This is not a town that's going to be, in my administration, happy with Hallmark cards taking over the town. All right? We're going to put in commercial rent control so clubs won't be turned into ice cream parlors in a national chain. Right? So that small businesses and small clubs and people who want to have life can afford the rent. Because if you don't do that, in 10 years from now, this entire town is going to be Hallmark card village. All tourist industry, all big corporations, all big industries, all big chains, and the rest of us are going to be out of it. It's time to call a stop to that. The regular politicians, which is why I'm running, won't do it. And the reason they won't do it is they get paid $1 million in campaign contributions, and the campaign contributions don't like that, all right? So what we're going to do, 2 weeks before the election, we're going to name every board and commission in San Francisco. And people from the clubs, from the nightlife, from the neighborhoods are going to be on those boards. And it's going to be returned to a people's town, a common sense town, a place where we can all have fun and be loose and nobody's going to be in anybody's face for anything, and it doesn't account to a good reason.
We're working through this. This is for the PMRC.
This is kind of our message to censorship.
Fuck you. You're too young to even argue. Fuck you. Stop whining around with you. And as I do, I say, fuck you. Excuse me as I step off my power horse. Just to say, fuck you. I think I'm gonna go now, so I'll just say adieu. And since we've touched upon, fuck you. That's our next single.
Did you guys play the same set at Berkeley Square that night? I don't know if you just kind of mixed it up and just played.
We tended to just mix things up and play what we felt like. We were not very organized.
Yeah, you just did the shows.
Yeah, we did. We kind of gauged the audience, but a lot of it was also, silly interband, bickering, like, I'm sick of doing that one. Oh, we just did that one. Nah, I don't want to do that one. So
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time discussing things on stage as opposed to putting on a show.
You had a team discussion live on stage.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun, though. I've seen a lot of your shows back then.
Yeah, well, actually, my favorite shows were actually the ones with the most chaos.
Yeah.
But then that again that didn't blend well with what some of the other band members were wanting to do with it.
Right.
So there was we never really coordinated and congealed on this is our vision. So it was just push and pull, and everyone trying to push it in a very particular direction. Sam wanted to be in the Rolling Stones, and Alan wanted to be in the Velvet Underground. I just wanted to be in a clown suit.
You were a clown on stage, I know.
Yeah. They got fed up with that too. Which, looking back on it, I can understand why.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't care. I was just so busy not taking rock and roll seriously that, the only thing I took serious was that rock and roll wasn't serious. And it was like, it was all about just having fun, whatever way you wanted.
Isn't that true though? Rock and roll is kind of fun to play on stage. I mean, it doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to be like a direction.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was reacting to at the time, because in San Francisco at that time, a lot of bands were trying to be very professional and trying to make it. You know, the underground was breaking through.
Yeah,
you know,
it was.
So it was REM and whoever, you know, making it, and so a lot of people in garage bands were thinking they were going to be the next ones, and that's not really, I wasn't against that stuff, it just, that isn't what I was interested in doing. I was actually very serious. I was in love with the idea of garage rock, like, and not just as a stylistic genre. Because, you know, there's a kind of sound you can go, oh yeah, garage rock. But I just mean amateurs getting together and making their own racket.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed since then.
I hope not.
No, I don't think so. But I know that you guys did go far with your music. I mean, you did get signed. You did get on MTV. I mean, you.
No, we didn't.
I saw a commercial. I even mentioned it.
Really?
Yes. When they were promoting our festival, our event.
Okay.
You were like,
we did.
You were the main act, and they mentioned you on MTV.
My goodness.
In fact, I saw it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa.
That must have pulled in a few, 2 or 3 extra audience members.
Yeah. Well, I sent them a press kit, and they actually mentioned it. I was watching MTV, and Cat Heads were. They were mentioned live. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, there was a period of time when we were some kind of name. There were people, I would notice it. Now, I would think it was really strange that you know, we'd come into some town. You know, it's always, it just varies. It depends. You go to one town, and it's like, who the fuck are you? We don't care. We already hate you. We don't know what you do, but you suck.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next town, and it's like, wow, you guys are the next big thing. What's it like to be the next big thing? It's like, I don't know, you tell me, you know. It's like, we're trying to get enough money for gas.
Speaking of road trips, what's your most memorable one?
Oh boy. Well, I ended up doing a lot, and actually the most memorable ones aren't with the Catheads, because when I was in Extol, I got to tour Europe a lot, and that was just great culturally. Going from country to country, and they also treat musicians differently there. Here, it's like you're a rock star or you're nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
And
still is like that today.
Yeah, and so if you're somebody, then you get too much good treatment, and you get too pampered. And if you're nobody, then fuck you, and you get ripped off right and left and everything. And in Europe, it's much more balanced. I mean, they pay attention to what you're doing, and it was weird. It's like after a show, I'd actually have people coming up and wanting to discuss ideas about the music, or they'd recognize a certain thing that I did. They go, oh yeah, I know that. I know where you got that riff from. That's from blah blah blah. And it would get really interesting. And sometimes they'd actually be like argumentative, but not in a nasty fuck you way. It would just be like, I really think that you should be approaching it like this, not like that. It's interesting.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's great. I love that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
The stuff that was memorable in the U.S. was just, fun shows. I couldn't remember a particular tour. We did 4 altogether in the U.S. And there were individual shows that I just loved, and there were some terrible shows that have great stories because it was so terrible. So it's more like that. It's not like there was this one tour when we were at our pinnacle. It was never like that.
You never ran out of gas in the middle of the desert, or?
No, I remember things like, the very first tour I learned a very important lesson, because here, when we were a local act, I loved to drink and do a show.
Yeah.
And I'd drink and I'd get drunk, and I'd recuperate the rest of the week, And we went on tour. We were touring with Camper Van Beethoven, and we were in, is it Washington or Oregon, where you can only get alcohol in the state stores, the state spot. It's all very carefully controlled by the government, so you can't just go down to the corner liquor store. And what I like to get were those little ass pocket flasks, because I'd finish it and that would be it, and I wouldn't be able to overdo it. And I had to go to one of these government stores, and I ended up with a quart of tequila, which I drank all in one sitting.
Wow, that's crazy.
I could have killed myself. It was really stupid. But that was in the middle of a tour. I blacked out. I have no idea I terrified the audience. I remember that all I remember from the show was that there was this distance between me and the audience. I was scaring, or I was creeping them out or something. I have no idea what I said, what I did. Sam was like, just don't ever do that again. I was like, do what? What did I do? He said, just don't ever do that again. What? Tell me and I won't do it.
Did they tell you eventually?
No, he never told me. But it was so disgusting. It pissed him off so much. You just couldn't even say it. And then the next couple of days were hell, because I was really fucked up and hungover, and I realized that I can't drink on tour, or I can't do that kind of drinking on tour. You just won't last. You'll just die. So that was an important lesson, because then I learned to get very moderate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad you're still here with us.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But I'm hanging on there. And what else? I remember a weird event where we played in New Jersey, and we ended up playing for some club that was run by the mob. And I was actually, and when you're young and you've had a drink, you're invincible, you cannot die. The club was trying to screw us over for our money, and that pissed me off. And I was talking to the manager from the band that was opening for us, and he was practically pissing his pants. He was just like, no, I don't know. I talked to them, and something's wrong. And I was like, well, let's go talk to him. I was like, it's like, come on, let's go. And I go meet these guys, and they're like a total bunch of Guidos. You know, they got the greased back hair and the suits, and they're just like
straight out of the movies.
Straight out of the movie, like they wanted to be extras on The Godfather. It was sad.
Playing it up.
And they're like, hey, you want to talk money? Come into our office. And we went into this room, and it was a meat locker with hooks. And then they just stood there like this, like, yeah, you want to talk money? And I looked at the hooks, and I looked at them, and I laughed, and I said, it's going to cost you more money to get rid of the bodies, so just fucking pay us. And they looked at each other and went, okay, pulled out their wallets and they paid me.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think I would be that courageous / stupid now.
Yeah.
But back then, it was somehow easy.
That's funny. Oh man, I'm glad you're still with us.
Yeah. But the thing is, I just accidentally had stumbled upon the ultimate truth, which is like, what are we going to do with these guys? We're threatening them.
Yeah.
Like we're going to hang them up on the meat hooks. I don't want to get my nice shoes all bloody.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, fuck, it's going to just pay them and they'll get out of here.
Oh.
Well, thank you for doing the festival 30 years ago. That was
Thank you.
a long time ago, but
Yeah, it was. I remember it though. I remember having fun. I remember getting a bloody lip.
oh man, it's on film too. You
Is it?
really got knocked out.
Oh yeah. Well, John is a large boy.
Yes.
I was 6'3" at the time. I've shrunk a little. I'm 6'2" now, but he kind of towers over me, and he's a big lunkin guy, and he just leapt on me and
Bam.
bam,
Yeah.
like right face down on the stage.
On camera. We
And,
got that on camera. It's like, oh my God, I hope he's still. I remember that. Go, God, I hope he's alive.
I was having a great time. I don't know. It's sort of like if you get in, you know, you're playing football and you get into it.
Yeah.
You know, you get beat up and bashed around, but it's like there's this. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
know.
I remember when we went backstage, I was worried about you because you had this bloody lip and you had this cloth on your face. I don't know if it's your shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. I asked you, are you okay? And you had the beers and everything, and you were okay. It was
It's okay. Give me another beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember there's this photograph from that.
Yeah.
And
was
you
a good-
can tell that the rest of the band's having a time too.
Yeah.
They're not worried. Oh, Mark, are you okay? And like,
There you-
"Yeah." He was asking for it.
It deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah. Mel's staggering around with a cigarette and a beer and what? Did something happen?
Yeah, that was fun. Well, thank you again. 30
Oh.
years, man. It's,
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
a pleasure to do it.
This is our last song. Thanks for coming. And hope Jello got enough money to buy a pizza with tonight. If anybody else would like to come up and sing this song, they're quite welcome to it. So just come up here and take it from me at any time. All right!
for the cat head. Unfortunately, we got to end the show. Thank you very much for coming. I want to thank the Kennel Club for letting us happen. KUSF, KLX, KFJC, KSCU, KSJS, Metro Media, the Scene, and of course, Censorship.
Thank the makers of Jello brand Jello.
Where are you, Jello? Thanks a lot.